Well, the competition watchdog has predicted a massive shortfall in the supply of gas for the East Coast market. And it comes after the Berejikian Government committed to pursuing a domestic gas reservation policy in 2014, despite advice of looming gas shortages. Higher gas prices will have a massive impact on families using gas in their homes. I can tell you at my house, where it was $600 for the quarter, the heater has been disconnected. I know it's hot, but my daughter, Alexandria, loves turning the heater on. But she can't right now because it's been turned off. They're certainly adding more pressure on an already stretched household budget. That's a fact, even for us. Shadow Minister for Energy, Adam Searle, is on the line. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Grant. How are you?
Good. The prices keep going on and up and up and up, and the gas, $600 for the quarter, $1,200 for the electricity, and my wife, Manel, has become a light Nazi. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, I also have gas in my household, and over the last 10 years there's been a massive increase in the price of gas, and many households are just struggling to pay their gas as well as their electricity bill, and it's impacting on those businesses, particularly in West and South-Western Sydney, that use gas in the industrial manufacturing and processes. So it's a real problem, but it's a uniquely Australian problem. We are one of the biggest gas producers in the world, but we are the only gas producer and exporter that doesn't say to the gas companies, hey guys, before you sell this stuff overseas, you've got to make sure that domestic customers have first dibs on gas.
And that's the very thing we haven't done.
That's right. Now, we've been calling for that since 2014. I was on an upper house inquiry that looked at what was happening with the gas market, and we could see the problem clear as day. But the gas industry attacked us. The federal and state government poo-pooed us and said this was ridiculous. But now the competition watchdog is basically saying all that's needed is to switch a bit of that foreign sales back into the domestic market and everything would be okay. And in fact, the Australian Energy Market Operator also made that same observation last year. The problem is 70% of the gas we produce is being exported, and that's the beginning and end of the problem.
Yeah. Look, I've got to say, it doesn't make sound business sense. As a businessman, the amount of gas we sell offshore is at a very low price. Why is that? It's certainly a lot lower than we pay for it, our own gas.
Well, we've now had the worst of all market experiences. Australian gas prices historically were much lower than internationally. Then because of those export platforms in Queensland, we got connected to the international gas price where our gas skyrocketed through the roof because producers said, well, why would we sell it here at $4 a gigajoule when we can sell it for $12 overseas or $16? But the problem has been is there's now a worldwide glut of gas, so the international price has crashed. Some of these gas companies are, still...
Well, that begs the question. If there's a worldwide glut of gas, then why do we have the Prime Minister imploring the state government of New South Wales to keep going with gas exploration, particularly recently as today in Narrabri?
Well, that's a very good question because the gas industry and, of course, the federal government basically say, oh, the problem is we've got to have more supply, more sources of gas, more gas produced. But we know that's not true. I know that's market theory, but the truth is over the last 10 years, we have massively increased our gas production in this country, and yet gas prices have never been higher. Why? Because the gas companies sell the gas we produce overseas. So if you are a domestic consumer, household or a business and you want gas, you've got to pay a premium to get hold of it. And that's what's happening because the gas companies are saying, well, we've got a contract for Korea or Japan and, we're just selling most of our gas, so there's very little gas here available for sale, and that pushes the price up. Now, interestingly, as I said, we called for a gas reservation policy in 2014, and that's still our position. The federal government, although it won't acknowledge it, has accepted that because they've created a gas export restriction mechanism. And he keeps threatening to do something about it, but he hasn't acted.
Yeah.
So Don Harwin and Gladys Berejikian here in New South Wales need to pick up the phone to Malcolm Turnbull and say it's time to act now. Not next year, not when more households can't afford their gas bills, when businesses are pushed to the edge and jobs are put at risk. Act now to bring gas prices back under control. You've got the mechanism, use it.
Yep. Adam, I'm talking to Adam Searle here, the Shadow Minister for Energy. As the Shadow Minister for Energy, I'm going to ask you a question. It might be a hard one, but what do you believe is the future of coal seam gas mining?
Look, coal seam gas mining is very vexed. The chief scientist set out a blueprint for what needed to be done before you could contemplate growing the industry here in New South Wales. The New South Wales government claims that they have implemented her recommendations, but they haven't fully. And the problem with that means you don't know whether it can be done safely.
Yeah, that's the point. And there's a lot of countries around the world and states in the United States that have banned fracking, as they call it there, coal seam gas mining, because of fears of damage to the water table. And in some areas, the damage is already prevalent. Now, if you look at Australia, we have one of the largest water tables in the world. And you damage that, we're done for, surely.
That's right. We're a very arid country, so New South Wales Labor's position is very clear. We want a moratorium on coal seam and unconventional gas exploration with a range of permanent no-go areas. We're not opposed to conventional gas, and I know that there is some conventional gas exploration happening in the far west of the state. So we're not opposed to that. And, you know, gas is part of our energy mix. Make no mistake about that. But we don't need coal seam gas.
Yeah. Well, at least let's start getting the gas at the right price for Australians. In all honesty, we're being ripped off. I'll give you an example, and I'll talk about the oil-rich countries in the Middle East. The ones that are very oil-rich, like Saudi Arabia, they pay very little for petrol. Very little. It's almost free. Why shouldn't it be that way here in Australia when we have great quantities of gas?
Well, not just that. We've got sun, we've got wind, you're right, we've got gas. And, you know, the gas companies aren't even paying tax. Like in Qatar, when they import Australian gas, they whack a tariff on it. So the Qatari government's making more money out of our gas than our own government.
So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that, and people should be very angry about this. You're saying they pay no tax on the gas that's sold in Australia?
No, well, there is a resources rent tax that they're supposed to pay, but the formula is so complicated and has so many exemptions and labyrinthine twists that they're paying very little tax on the gas that's produced and exported, and that's a real problem because, you know, these resources belong to the whole community, not to the gas companies. And people seem to have lost sight of that.
Yeah, you've got to keep pounding down the door of the coalition government, unfortunately, and that's what's got to happen. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Grant.
Well done. Adam Searle, he's the Shadow Minister for Energy.